Here, let me see that map. Here's Arkentool.
As I remember, that should be on the left. And I don't remember.
It is. And here's Brainwolf.
Should be on the right.
It is. Now where the hell are we?
What's in the middle?
Nothing.
That's where we are.
In nothing?
Yes, for a fellow with my potentialities, this is an ideal location. We'll find our way out when the sun comes up.
A fine couple of game hunters we are. We come all the way out here from New York, and on the first night out, we get lost.
Maybe we took the high road instead of the low road. Would you like a drink?
No, thanks.
Good. That leaves more for me.
Didn't you say you were going to cut down on that stuff?
Yes, I did, but I'm a terrible liar. Besides, it doesn't pay. I remember one time I was going with this wonderful girl, and she used to plead with me to give it up. So one day I did. Then we discovered we had nothing more to talk about, so we broke up.
There's something about this forest that gives me the feeling of being in a cathedral.
Well, if we were, I'd know where the exit was.
You don't believe in anything, do you?
Of course I do.
Really? What?
Practically anything I can understand. You know, anything that's real to me, like things I can see, smell, taste, touch, hear, and swallow.
Well, what about the things you don't understand?
I dismiss them.
That makes everything very easy, doesn't it?
Comfortable is the word.
I envy you, Jeff.
Why?
Well, you seem to be very satisfied.
I am. Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. You've got a fine job, you're engaged to a fine girl, and you're lost in a fine forest. What more do you want?
I don't know. But something seems wrong, especially between Jane and me. Well, look how I postponed getting married. I just can't seem to get myself to that altar.
I don't know what could be wrong about it. She's young, attractive, fits smack into your niche in life, and on top of that, she loves you, in just the proper amount, too.
Well, what's the proper amount?
Enough to make you happy and not enough to embarrass your friends.
It looks ideal, doesn't it? But why don't I see it? I must be lacking somewhere.
Now, don't go talking yourself into an inferiority complex. You don't deserve it.
What do you mean?
Well, most of my friends who have inferiority complexes are absolutely right. They're not as good as everyone else, but someone like you who...
Did you hear that?
Uh-huh. Sounds like...
Look over there. Looks like a village. It is.
Why, you told me there were no towns listed on the map around here.
I did. Look, see where that village is? There's a peculiar heavy fog all around it.
It's not a mist in the valley.
Only around the village.
That's
meat I'm selling there at the fair, laddie.
Hail for sailor butter there at the square, laddie.
Hail for sailor butter there at the square, laddie. Come ye in the town.
Come ye from the hill. All the carp I'm selling there at the square, laddie.
Come ye from the hill. Come ye there.
Come ye to the fair. Come ye, all ye, everywhere to compare. Come ye from the hill. Come ye from the hill. Hear ye in the fair. Come ye there. Come ye there. Come ye from the hill. Come from hill and hear ye everywhere. Don't you get there's a fair down on the Carnegie Square.
Come ye from the moon, come from heaven. Hear ye everywhere, don't ye care there's a fair.
Come ye from the moon, from the moon. Come ye from the pale and blue. Oh, hear ye everywhere. Don't you care there's a fair down on the Carnegie Square.
So get meat I'm selling there at the fair, laddie.
Come on ye there.
Come on ye there. Come on ye there. Come ye to the
I'm selling a bit of milk and cream, sip it and ye will vow that this is the finest milk and cream that ever came out of cow. The finest it is, the price is small, the milk and the cream alike. There's nothing to do but sell it all. That cow when I take it back.
Come ye from the hills, come ye from the hills, come ye everywhere, come ye there, come ye there.
Come ye from the moon, ye from the moon. Come ye from the pale and blue. Hear ye everywhere. Don't you care there's a fair down on the Carnegie Square.
Come, Hattie. Put down your book and help your father. You may even get to like the weaving business.
I'll never like the weaving business, Father, and you know it well.
Try that. Tell Uncle McGuffey we need some eggs. I'll give him enough wool for a pair of trousers for enough eggs for our dinner. Good morning to you, Mr. McLaurin.
Good morning, Archie.
And good morning to your two bonny daughters.
Hello, Mr. Beaton.
What would you be looking for, Miss Fiona?
A waistcoat for my father for the wedding.
Why, of course. You and young Charlie Dalrymple are getting married this evening, aren't you, Miss Jean?
Aye, she is.
Well, if she had to choose someone other than my son Patty, I'm glad 'tis a lad as fine as Charlie.
I'm Mr. Beaton.
You must be happy as a lark in the glen.
I'm Mr. Beaton.
As you see, Mr. Beaton, Jean is a wee bit short of words.
Father says I shouldn't talk too much. He says I sound so happy that he finds it annoying.
Is that what she said, Mr. McLaurin?
Aye, Archie, I did. Besides, when a lass gets married, she must get used to listening and not talking.
I didn't think Charlie have trouble with Miss Jean here. She's a good maiden.
Archie, all maidens are good. So then tell me where all the bad wives come from, will you? Friends, Mr. Lundy has written upon this parchment a few reminders, and he asked me to hang it in the public square where you can all see it and be reminded. 'Tis the second day of our blessing, and this is to remind you of all the obligations we have so gratefully accepted.
Aye.
So I shall hang it in the public square as I told Mr. Lundy I would.
Aye.
Your father likes to take charge of things, doesn't he, Miss Fiona?
Aye, especially after everything's been done. Would you have a waistcoat of this that would fit him?
I think so.
Hello, Harry.
Hello, Jean.
How are you today?
How do you expect me to be? This is your wedding day, isn't it?
I'm truly sorry,
Well,
Harry.
then it be. If anybody's going to pity me, let it be me. Trapped forever without you in this peasant village.
What did Uncle say, Harry?
I forgot.
Hello, Harry.
Hello, Fiona. It just isn't fair for Charlie Dalrymple to be wedding you, Jean. He's got everything. School in Edinburgh and now ye. And I've got nothing.
Hetty, here. Take this material to the house and see if there's a waistcoat of it there.
Nothing but to be doing this all my life.
And why didn't you pay any attention to Maggie Anderson? You know she's got a yearning for you.
Aye, Father.
Oh, Fiona, I feel so sorry for him.
I know, darling.
Mr. Beaton, did you not hear me for not loving Harry, do you?
No, Miss Jean, 'tis not your fault. Sometimes I think that the only woman that could have loved Teddy and helped him was his own mother, rest her soul.
Come, Jeannie, you're going to spend today with your father. Fiona, be sure to get what will be needed for the wedding supper.
I will, Father.
And Fiona, only what will be needed. My aim in this is to be hospitable, not philanthropic. Come, Jean.
You'll send the waistcoat to the house, Mr. Beaton.
I'm Miss Fiona.
Good morning, Fiona.
Hello, Meg. A jug of cream, please.
Mr. McGuffey will be pleased to the last buy it for a change.
Why?
When the lads come shopping, they look so handsome. I didn't like to ask them for money.
But you'll never make a profit doing that.
No, but I make lots of friends. Is this for the wedding tonight?
Aye.
Fiona, when are you going to think about marriage for yourself?
When I find someone who makes me think of it.
And you haven't found anyone up till now who's made you think of it?
No, you see, I didn't want to just get married. I think you should do it when you and your lad want to stay together fiercely, and getting married's the only way to do it that's proper.
That's an unusual idea, Fiona.
Many a lassie, as everyone knows, oh, try to be married before 25. So she'll agree to most any proposal. All he must be is a man and alive. I hold a dream and there's no compromising. I know there's one certain laddie for me. One day he'll come walking o'er the horizon, but should he not, then an old maid I'll be. Foolish he may say, foolish I will stay, waiting for my dearie is sweeter to me than to win anybody on the lea. When he comes, my dearie but I fear the night is longer when the land's not right. Waiting for my dearie is sweeter to me than wooing anybody on the lea. Dreaming of your dearie, and I've in the day. That's how I am and how I'll ever stay. Though I'll live 40 lives till the day he arrives, I'll not ever grieve. For my hopes will be high that he'll come strolling by. For ye see, I believe that there's a laddie weary and wandering free, who's waiting for his dearie, me.
Hello.
Could you tell us where we are?
Of course we can tell you. You're on Bridgadoon.
Bridgadoon?
Hi.
Well, that's funny. There's no town called Bridgadoon listed on the map.
I should be surprised.
You mean you know it isn't on the map?
Aye.
That's a little snobbish of you, don't you think?
Why isn't it on the map?
For good and solid reasons.
What are you all dressed up for? It's just the day you take pictures for postcards?
We're not dressed up.
You mean you always go around with all those clothes on?
No.
Now, come on. Somebody. What is this? What's going on here?
We're having a fair.
Is that milk you're selling there?
Aye.
Can I buy some? I'm thirsty. We've been walking all night.
I'll have to see your money first.
What? Oh.
What did you give him, a hunk of uranium?
No, just a shilling. What a loony layout this is.
It is very interesting, sir, but it does me no good.
What do you mean it does you no good? Sell me something and it will.
I cannot sell you anything, but if you're thirsty, I'll give you some milk.
No thanks. I don't want any favors.
I see from the coin you're from England.
No, we're from America.
You're Americans.
I am. He's from Georgia. Come on, boy.
No, wait, please. We didn't mean to act so strangely. People didn't come here very often. We're just a wee bit taken aback.
Well, I can understand why. You people stare at us as if we just dropped in from another world. Does that amuse you?
Aye, very much.
Quiet, Meg.
Obviously the daughter of two first cousins.
If you've been walking all night, you must be tired and hungry. Wouldn't you like some food to eat and perhaps a place to lie down before you stop back?
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Good. Oh, my name is Fiona McLaren.
And I'm Tommy Albright. And this is Jeff Douglas.
How do you do, sir?
I'm Meg Brokey.
I'm glad you're happy about it.
There's a little tavern on the next street where you can get some food.
I'll take you to it.
Go ahead, Jeff. I'll call the inn first.
Excuse me, sir. But is Miss May going to take care of you, sir?
I think so. Why?
Well, I have someone in plaids here, and after you leave the tavern, if Miss Meg should happen to take you someplace to rest, and you should happen to rip your own on a thistle, I'd be more than pleased to replace them for you, sir.
Thanks, old man, but I don't plan on getting stuck.
You didn't know it, laddie, but you're stuck now.
You tend to your selling, Mr. Beaton.
What a place. Is there a phone around here?
A phone?
Yes.
I didn't think we have one.
No phone?
No, sir.
Tell me, what's so strange about this place?
Nothing. You're the one who's strange.
Charlie, here's a bottle of claret. Have a dram of luck with me.
Well, the merry bridegroom himself.
Bridegroom?
Good morning, darling.
He's marrying my sister this evening.
Oh,
Good morning to you, sir.
good morning to you.
Charlie, this is Tommy Albright. He just happened in a little while ago.
What? Oh, why, of course. Welcome to you, sir.
Welcome to you.
Here's your dram, Charlie.
Thank you, Angus.
How about you, sir? Some claret?
Thank you.
I think I'll drink this one to Mr. Forsythe. I hope he realizes how happy I am for postponing the miracle for me.
The what?
And may God bless me this evening as much as I would if I were he and he were Charles Dalrymple.
What did you say about postponing a miracle?
Oh, 'tis a toast we have around here.
Take it down. I'll explain it to you later.
Say, that's wonderful. May I have another?
That was a wedding gesture, sir. From now on, 'tis for sale only.
I must buy some claret and ale for supper. Come with me and you can have some more.
Well, that's fine.
Wollens, lads.
He's an odd lad, isn't he?
Hi. He has a peculiar accent.
I wonder what the American women must be like.
I didn't wonder about women anymore, Angus. I'm not allowed to.
That's right. You're through with the lasses for good, aren't you?
I used to be a roving lad, a roving and wandering life I had. On any lass I'd frown who would try to tie me down. But then one day I saw a maid who held out her hand and I stayed and stayed. And now across the green I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home, go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. I used to have 100 friends, but when they are wedded, the friendship ends. They never come to call. So farewell to one and all. Farewell to all the lads I knew. I'll see them again when they're married too. For now across the green, I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home, go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. Edinburgh I used to know a lass with an air and her name was Jo, and every night at 10 I would meet her in the glen. But now I'll not see her again, especially not in the glen at 10. For now across the green I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home, go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home. Bonnie Jean. Hello to married men I've known. I'll soon have a wife and leave yours alone. A bonny wife indeed, and she's all I'll ever need. With Bonnie Jean, my days will fly. And love her I will till the day I die. That's why across the green I'll go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home, go home with Bonnie Jean. Go home, go home, I'll go home with Bonnie Jean.
you wouldn't forget to come over and sign the family Bible.
No, darling, I'll be there. And I do hope, sir, that you'll be staying for the wedding supper.
I won't be here that long.
Oh, 'tis a pity.
And what are we going to do all day, Charlie?
Rest, dearie, rest.
He's a nice kid.
Aye, he is that.
It's wonderfully refreshing to see a fellow so enthusiastic about getting married.
It is so unusual.
Well, I think it is. Well, look at me. I'm not bubbling over like Charlie, and I'm facing the minister next month.
You mean you're getting married?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, what?
I'm surprised. Somehow you didn't look like the sort of lad that would want to settle down.
Oh, I didn't say that. I just said I was getting married.
If you feel that way about it, why are ye?
Well, because the girl wants to.
Is that reason enough?
I think it is. Well, I don't know how it is in the Highlands, but in my neighborhood, when you've been going with a girl for a long time, and she decides she wants to get married, you'd better agree right away and save yourself a lot of trouble.
Why?
Well, because if you don't, she'll torment you so you'll marry her for relief, or she'll be so sweet about it, you'll feel guilty and your conscience will make you do it.
I must say, it didn't sound like you love her very much.
No, it doesn't, does it?
And it also sounds like a very peculiar land you come from.
Well, believe me, lass, this isn't the usual hamlet off the highway either. What was that about Charlie and the man who postponed the miracle?
Oh, that. I'm sorry, I cannot say.
But you said you'd tell me later.
I know, but I cannot say.
That's fine. You know, if I stick around this place long enough, I think I might find that everyone in it is slightly nutty. Is that possible?
I cannot say.
Why not?
Because I didn't know what nutty means.
It means slightly insane.
Well, then I can assure ye, we're all far from insane. We're a most blessed group of people, and I never know how fortunate we are until I meet an outsider, a stranger to Bridgadoon. I don't know anything about ye, but from the little you've said and everything you think, I think differently about. And I'm also quite certain that what I think is much more, well, pleasant. Now, I'm sorry I said all that, but she angered me when you called us insane.
Hey, you don't like me very much, do you?
That's the odd part. I like you very much. I just didn't like anything you say.
Fiona, if I stick around here today, would you take me to the wedding this evening?
Why do you suddenly want to go?
I cannot say.
Well, then I'll take ye, and I'll be highly pleased you'll be there.
You will? Why?
Because of what I just told ye. I like ye very much.
That's right, you did say that, didn't you?
Now I'll take you someplace where you can lie down and rest.
What are you gonna do?
Gather some heather for the wedding.
Where do you do that?
On the hill where the heather is.
May I go with you?
No, I'll do it much faster alone.
I won't bother you, really. Maybe I'm the one who's slightly nutty, but... Can't we two go walking together out beyond the valley of trees, out where there's a hillside of feather curtsying gently in the breeze? That's what I'd like to do. See the heather buds with you. The mist of May is in the gloaming, and all the clouds are holding still. So take my hand and let's go roaming through the heather on the hill. The morning dew is blinking yonder. There's lazy music in the reel, and all I want to do is wander through the heather on the hill. There may be other days as rich and rare, there may be other springs as full and fair, but they won't be the same. They'll come and go. For this I know, that when the mist is in the gloaming and all the clouds are holding still, if you're not there, I won't go roaming through the heather on the hill. The heather
nice things when you want to.
Yes. It almost sounded like I was making love to you, didn't it?
Oh, there's a difference between making love and just being sentimental because you're tired.
Is that what I was being? Sentimental because I'm tired?
I believe so, but 'tis very agreeable. The mist of May is in the gloaming, and all the clouds are holding still. So take my hand and let's go roaming through the heather on the hill. The morning dew is blinking yonder. There's lazy music in the rill, and 'tis a lovely time to wander through the heather on the hill. There may be other days as rich and rare. There may be other springs as full and fair, but they won't be the same. They'll come and go.
For this I know, that when the mist is in the gloaming,
And all the clouds are holding still.
and all the clouds are holding still,
If you're not there,
I won't go roaming through the heather on the hill. The heather on the hill. What's that?
We have a school every now and then. I'll get my basket and we'll be off.
It's a very picturesque view of the Glen.
Thank you.
What for?
Why, for liking where I brought you. It makes me very happy.
You get happy very easily, don't you?
I
haven't been in an open shed like this since I was a boy, which at this point seems a good 2,000 years ago.
You mean you're tired?
Hi, lassie. I'm tired. That is why you brought me here, isn't it? So I could take a nap?
I shouldn't think a long walk would fatigue a young lad like ye.
A young lad.
Ah, you're very young.
That is either a deliberate lie or wishful thinking. I am ancient, decrepit, and disintegrating rapidly.
Aye.
What's under here? A rock garden?
My father used to sleep on it.
That was his second mistake.
He and my mother met in this shed. You see, my mother was a gypsy.
Uh-huh.
And one day, she was walking past this shed, and she saw my father asleep on the cot. She liked his looks, and she was a wee bit tired anyhow. So she took off her shoes, sat in the rocking chair, and waited for him to wake up. And it wasn't long after that that I was born.
That's one of the sweetest bedtime stories I've ever heard.
You're sure you're comfortable?
Very. Thank you very much. You've been more than kind. Now, if you want to round out your generosity, buzz off.
You're a brawn, handsome lad.
You should see me when I'm rested. I'm almost robust.
I just hate to leave ye.
You'd better. When I sleep, I make all sorts of odd noises.
Who told ye? Do you have a wife?
No, but I was engaged once.
What happened to the last you were engaged to?
She fell in love with a Russian.
A Russian? Russia's in Europe, isn't it?
Yes, more and more.
Oh.
It's not far from here. You just cross the channel and turn left.
Ah, you're a winning lad, a right winning lad.
Now look, lass, I'm not sure what you're after, but I don't want to. I want to go to sleep.
But didn't you see? Highly attracted to ye.
Thank you very much. When I wake up, we'll discuss the whole problem. And believe me, you have a problem.
And when I look at you lying on the cot, I feel little tadpoles jumping on my spine.
That's about as repulsive an idea as I've heard in years. You know, if sex were a hobby, you'd be a collector's item.
But I've been waiting so long.
Go.
Oh, ye men are all alike.
I should certainly hope so.
You're all brutes. You get what you want from a lass, and then 'tis farewell.
Get what I want? I can't even get you to go away.
That's what I'm referring to. I thought you were interested in me, and that's why you let me take you here. You misled me.
You certainly have one hell of an imagination. Can you think of one good reason why I, a strange man, should be interested in you? A strange woman, and at this hour of the day?
Of course I can, because you're a lad and I'm a lass.
With that philosophy, you must have had a provocative career.
Aye, I've had a great many heartbreaks.
I don't doubt it at all.
At 16 years I was blue and sad. Then father said I should find a lad. So I set out to become a wife and found the real love of my life. His name, it was Chris, and the last was McGill. I met him one night picking flowers on the hill. He had lots of charm and a certain kind of touch and a certain kind of eagerness to please me very much. So there, 'neath the moon where romance often springs, I gave him my heart and a few other things. I don't know how long that I stayed up on the hill, but the moon had disappeared and so had Christopher McGill. So I went home and I thought I'd die, till father said, make another try. So out I went to become a wife and found the real love of my life. He came from the lowlands, said he. I saw him and knew he was perfect for me. Just one thing that puzzled me, and it always will, was he told me that he'd heard about me from his friend McGill. We quick fell in love and went down by the creek. The next day he said he'd be back in a week. And I thought he would, for now how was I to know that of all the lowland laddies there was never one as low? I told my father the awful truth. He said, what difference you've got your youth. So out I went mad to be a wife and found the real love of my life. Oh, he was a poet, a rhymer was he. He read me some verse he had written for me. He said they would move me, these poems from his pen. And all right he was, because they moved me right into the glen. We stayed till the dawn came in
lighted the sky. Then I shook his hand and I bid him goodbye. I never went back, for what I had heard was true, that a poet only writes about the things he cannot do. My pa said, daughter, so I'm still looking to be a wife and find the real love of my life. Oh, he was a soldier, a fine Highland son. He told me about all the battles he'd won. He wasted his time telling me about his might, but one look at him decided me to not put up a fight. We skirmished for hours that night in the glen, and I found the sword has more might than the pen. But when I was drowsing, I snored to my dismay, and he thought it was a bugle and got up and marched away. Now Pa said, daughter, there must be one, someone who's true or too old to run. So I'm still looking to be a wife and find the real love of my life.
packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Pack all her clothes, tonight away she goes. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. The town of tonight away she goes. What with all the clothes, all of these and those, why do you suppose Jeannie never grows? Hankies for her nose, ribbons for her bows, cotton for her hose, slippers for her toes. Back home, tonight away she goes. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Back home her clothes, tonight away she. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. Jeannie's packing up, Jeannie's moving out. The town of love, tonight away she.
Hi! Hi, Charles McPherson Dalrymple.
Tonight's the founder of a new
be seeing Jeannie for the wedding brings bad luck.
Really, sir?
Aye. Here's the family Bible. Take it and sign under the name of my dear departed wife. Come in.
Here, Mr. McLaren, I've brought your waistcoat.
Thank you, Hetty. 'Tis good to see you. Wait a minute, lad.
What for?
Why didn't you take me hand? I'm not your enemy.
You may not mean to be, but you are, and so is everyone else in this town.
What is it, lad? Why do you go about hating?
I couldn't get through this day of seeing her marry someone else if I didn't. What could I do? What can anyone do but hate when you realize your life didn't mean a damn? I cannot leave here. I cannot go to the university and make something of myself, and I cannot have Jean. So there's nothing left to do but hate everything and everybody in this cursed town.
You'll never find any peace by hating, lad. It only shuts you out more from the world. Besides, 'tis only a cursed place if you make it so. To the rest of us, 'tis a blessed place.
Well, you can keep it.
Well, hold on. Who is that?
My waistcoat's came.
Oh, Jeannie! Jeannie!
Charlie, please go away. I want to come out.
Then I'll obey her, lad. You'll spoil her.
Jeannie!
Charlie, please go away.
I can hardly wait for the wedding. Jeannie! Because they told me I can't behold ye till wedding music starts playing. To ease my longing, there's nothing wrong in me standing out here and saying, come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Darling, my darling, 'tis all I can say. So come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Give me your lips and don't take them away.
Charlie, please go away.
Come, dearie, near me so ye can hear me. I've got to whisper this softly, and though I'm burning to shout my yearning, the words come tiptoeing off me. Oh, come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Darling, my darling, 'tis all I can say. So come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Give me your lips and don't take them away. Come to me, bend to me, kiss. can't behold ye till wedding music starts playing. To ease my longing, there's nothing wrong in me standing out here and saying, oh, come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Darling, my darling, 'tis all I can say. Oh, come to me, bend to me, kiss me good day. Give me your lips and don't take them away.
Jean, aren't you going to greet our guests?
Greetings.
Greetings.
Fiona, where have you been? You know I cannot dress without you.
You mean 'tis time to each dress?
Aye, so come.
You see, I knew we were out far too long.
I know, but I'm not sorry.
Wait for me. I shan't be but a few minutes.
Fiona.
Good morning, laddie.
Hi. Where have you been?
This is nice. Should have seen the apartment I got. Complete with a built-in lassie.
Come on in. What the hell happened to you?
Thistle. What? Never mind. It's a professional secret. Mine will be ready before we leave. And another thing. Disregard all that rubbish about Scottish frugality. Their generosity is overpowering.
Well, how do you feel?
Surprisingly well. How about you?
I never felt better in my life. You too? Maybe the sun gave me the power, for I could swim Loch Lomond and be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I would swear I was falling. I could swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. When we walked up the brae,
Not a word did we say. It was almost like being in love. But your arm linked in mine made the world kind of fine.
it was almost like being in love.
All the music of life seems to be
Like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell I could swear I was falling. It's almost like
Bundle of heather, Tommy?
right, darling.
Darling?
Thank you, dearie.
Well, when do we start back?
Oh, there's no hurry. After all, how often do you...
What's the matter?
I must be a little touched. Listen to this. Married, Elizabeth Lang to Andrew McLaren, July 2nd, 1759.
What's so amazing? People used to get married back then.
Wait. Children, Fiona, born October 10th, 1761, and Jean, born April 8th, 1768.
Well?
But Fiona's 24 and she's got a sister 6 years younger named Jean.
Well?
But those are the two sisters in this Bible.
Ridiculous. They're probably just named after them.
Jeannie's getting married today, did you know that?
Yes.
Do you know the name of the guy she's marrying?
They told me at the tavern, someone named Dalrymple.
Well, get this. Married, Jean McLaren to Charles McPherson Dalrymple, May 24th, 1786. Now what do you say?
Congratulations.
Wait. No Bridgadoon on the map. No phones in the whole town. Thanks to Mr. Dumbfaddle for doing something about a miracle. And one or two other things I passed over when I was out with Fiona this afternoon.
That hypothyroid I was out with never heard of Haig and Haig.
I don't understand it. I'm beginning to feel like a damn fool.
I understand it. It just means that batty people relax you.
Oh, she's not batty. She can't be. Fiona! I'm sure there's a logical explanation for this. Even logical enough for you. Fiona!
They don't have to explain anything to me. I don't care.
What, Tommy? Tommy, what is it?
Is this your name here in this Bible?
And why?
Someone seems to have lost up your books.
Well, is there an explanation or isn't there?
There is, but I cannot tell ye.
Well, is there anyone who can?
Ye have to speak with the Dominie,
The who?
our schoolmaster, Mr. Lundy.
Well, where does he live?
Down the road in a tree.
No, he doesn't live in a tree, Mr. Douglas. Mr. Lundy is a great man. All right, Tommy, I'll take you to him. I hadn't wanted to because I wanted to spend this day together.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
It will be hard for you to believe what you'll hear. You'll think there's something wrong and you'll leave. I know it.
Maybe I will, and maybe I won't. Come on, Jeff.
Is it informal or should I wear my three-cornered hat?
Good day, Mr. Lundy.
Why, hello, Fiona. What a pleasant surprise.
Mr. Lundy, I'd like you to meet Mr. Tommy Albright and Mr. Jeff Douglas.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How do you do, sir?
Good afternoon.
Where do you gentlemen come from?
We're from New York.
We're from New York.
Yes, New York.
I heard you.
Mr. Lundy, I was wondering if you'd be good enough to explain to these gentlemen about Bridgadoon. They've heard and seen a good deal, and they're very perplexed indeed.
Perplexed is right.
I'd very much like them, to know.
I would very much like them, to know.
Aye, sir.
When you be seated, gentlemen? Are you staying, Fiona?
If I may, sir, I'd love to hear it all again.
From what I gather, no one around here can talk about anything but you. Is that right?
No, that's wrong. Mr. Forsythe could have told you.
Forsythe. I've heard of him, but I didn't meet him.
Likely not. I think he's dead.
That would stand in the way, I suppose.
Let me warn you before I begin that what I'm about to tell you, you wouldn't believe.
It's all right. I've already been warned, but why won't I believe it?
Well, because what happened in Bridgadoon was a miracle, and most folk didn't believe in miracles. Miracles require faith, and faith seems to be as dead as,
Mr. Forsythe?
Aye. Now, if an outsider who chanced to come to Bridgadoon were to hear the tale from the lips of someone in town, they think the lasser laddie was daft, and that would lead to many unpleasant and humiliating things for the poor lasser laddie. Now, wouldn't it?
I suppose so.
I suppose so. So only I can talk about the miracle to strangers.
You don't imagine anybody would think you're crazy?
Ye might very well, but it wouldn't hurt me. I'd just pity ye. Now let's see, this miracle happened, what's today?
Friday.
Friday. That means it happened exactly 200 years ago. 200 years ago, the Highlands of Scotland were plagued with witches, wicked sorcerers who were taking the Scottish folk away from the teachings of God and putting the devil in their souls. They were indeed horrible, destructive women. I didn't suppose you have such women in your world.
Witches?
Yes, we still have them, but we pronounce it differently.
It didn't matter. They were not real sorcerers. For ye and I both know there's no such thing. But their influence was very real indeed. Now here in Bridgadoon we had an old minister of the kirk by the name of Mr. Forsythe, and a good man he was.
The kindest man in Scotland.
I believe he was. No man ever loved his parish as did Mr. Forsythe, but he was growing old and it grieved him to think that one day soon he would have to leave all that was so dear to him. But most of all, he had been worried about the witches. They hadn't visited Bridgadoon yet, but he knew there was a band of them coming our way. So he began to wonder if there wasn't something he could do to protect the folk from his parish, not only from them, but from all the evils that might come to Bridgadoon from the outside world after he died.
What a kind man.
He spent many days walking through the glen thinking. And if he had passed his house at any hour of the night, you would have seen Mr. Forsythe sitting in his chair thinking. Then one day he came to me and told me that he had decided to ask God for a miracle.
This part is so nice. I could cry thinking about it.
He consulted with me about it because he knew I had a highly logical mind. And if he was going to ask for a miracle, it may as well be a well-organized miracle. So for many days I sat with him, and for many nights I sat with him by candlelight. Then Mr. Forsythe finally decided what he was going to ask for. And on an early Wednesday morning, right after midnight, Mr. Forsythe went out to a hill beyond Bridgadoon. There in the hush of a sleeping world, he asked God that night to make Bridgadoon and all the people in it vanish into the highland mist. Vanish, but not for always. It would all return just as it were for one day every 100 years. The people would go on leading their customary lives, but when they would awake the next morn, it would be 100 years later. And when we awoke the next morning, it was 100 years later.
My God.
You see, in this way, Mr. Forsythe figured there'd be no change in the lives of the people. They just wouldn't be in any century long enough to be touched by it.
You mean you go to bed at night and when you wake up the next morning it's 100 years later?
Aye.
Then every day is 100 years later?
Aye.
What happened to the minister?
We never saw him again.
You see, he knew that to ask for such a sacrifice, there had to be some offering, and he wanted to be the one to make it. Now, what could be the greatest sacrifice that he could offer? It was to be separated afore his time from the ones that he loved. So that's why he went out to a hill beyond Bridgadoon. Were the miracle granted, he would never see Bridgadoon again.
And all this happened 200 years ago?
Aye, lad, what you see is only 2 days ago to us. He had intended to ask for the miracle on Tuesday, but Charles Dalrymple was in school in Edinburgh and was not expected back till Tuesday date. So Mr. Forsyth, not wanting anything to go wrong with the wedding, had postponed his praying to God till Charlie got back.
Wasn't that sweet of him?
Let me ask you something. Suppose somebody gets fed up and wants to leave. Can he?
He cannot leave.
You mean I've got to stay here now?
No, lad. But according to Mr. Forsyth's contract with God, if anyone of Bridgadoon were to leave, the enchantment would be broken for all.
And?
That night, when the people go to sleep, Bridgadoon will disappear forever.
Look, I'm not saying I believe all this, but just for argument's sake, suppose a stranger like, well, me came to Bridgadoon and wanted to stay. Could he?
Aye, lad, he could. A stranger can stay in Bridgadoon if he loves someone here. Not just Bridgadoon, mind ye, but someone in it to want to give up everything for that one person. Which is how it should be, lad. Because after all, if you love someone deeply, anything is possible.
I think I like that part the best.
Shouldn't you be thinking about change for the wedding, Fiona?
I had. Will I see you later, Tommy?
Yes, I'll be there.
Thank you, Tommy. I must hurry now. Thank you, Mr. Lundy.
I think I want to stick around and see if this place evaporates like you say.
She's a dear lass.
Yes, I'm finding that out. Let me ask you something. Are you all perfectly happy living here in this little village?
Yes, lad. After all, sunshine can peep through a small hole.
But when you go to bed at night, what's it like?
Well, for me, 'tis like being carried off on shadowy arms to some far-off cloud. And there I float till morning. And yet sometimes I think I hear strange voices.
Voices?
Aye, they say no words I can remember, but their voices are filled with a fearful longing, and they often seem to be calling me back. I've pondered it when I'm awake, and I believe it's the outside world that I'm hearing. There must be lots of folk out there who'd like a Bridgadoon. 'Tis time for the wedding.
Lassie!
Be done.
There's going to be a wedding. We have no minister in Bridgadoon now. In most villages, this would be a calamitous thing, but we know 'tis a blessing. When there is no minister present, it is perfectly proper, according to the laws of Scotland, for two people to be wed by sincere mutual consent. There need be nothing in writing, just the promise of love for as long as ye both shall live. Go ahead, lad.
I'll love ye to the day I die, and I'll make all effort to be a good husband to ye.
And so much will I try to be a fine and loving wife.
Mr. Forsyth, I know, would have liked to have been here. But if you both be good and true to each other, then you cannot help but live in the grace of God. And Mr. Forsyth, I know, could have asked for no more than that.
Are we married now, Mr. Lundy?
Are we married now, Mr. Lundy? Aye, lad, you're married.
It was a nice wedding, wasn't it?
The bride!
Hush-high! Hush-high! Hush-high!
The bride!
Hush-high!
like a dervish in a steaming wind. I can't tell you nothing but a screaming wind. Like a dervish in a steaming wind. I can't tell you nothing but a screaming wind. Nothing but a screaming wind.
All I've done was to want you too much. I'm leaving Bridgadoon. To the end of all of us. The miracle is over!